Hey, how's it going, fam? The RStar fan, all the GTA Manhunt fans, everyone who likes pretty much what RStar has produced. Just want to give a little short introductory that I don't write scripts. I've just kind of been doing this on and off sometimes where I just sit down and talk about video games. So, I might end up writing more scripts so I can, talk about everything I want to talk about and not seem like I'm rambling or anything like that. But I mostly just kind of freestyle when it comes to talking about, these types of topics. And I do want to, I have to turn that down. I do want to do more video edits where I put gameplay behind it and talk, and maybe have segments where I don't talk at all and just show off my gameplay and all that stuff. Really cool ideas. But I just thought I'd just make this video real quick and just say, hey, I'm gonna be talking about GTA San Andreas, the remasters, the music behind all the GTA games, how it's kind of impacted my life, and just it's just awesome because video games have definitely been an influence and have impacted my life positively. And like this song before you right now, it's Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode, which is actually featured in San Andreas, and I had no idea the song was on their playlist, but I really love it, and it has that really nice alternative sort of moody emo goth sound to it. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't for RStar, and I don't think I would really know who this band is. But with that being said, I just wanted to just throw that out there, because I'm all up for an improvement on things, but sometimes I might just freestyle my way and just wing about a video or that I want to talk about and all that. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy listening to me talk about my opinions and thoughts and things of that nature for the games I'm gonna talk about tonight. And yeah, just hit like and subscribe on the YouTube or whatever social media platform. Follow me. Got all kinds of really cool things to talk about. So first and foremost, I will start off by saying I really have been enjoying the GTA remasters for what they are, even though they're kind of pulling a second cyberpunk move in a way, and yeah, I was a little upset with some of the bugs and just like how incomplete the remaster really is. But for the most part, playing the game over again, it's been a nice nostalgic throwback for me, and I just like how the music in the game really makes the experience. I'm gonna play another song here. It's on the K-DST radio. It's called Horse with No Name by America. And that song played while I was just kind of screwing around in the remaster. And I had like 2 stars, I think, or 3 stars, and I was pretty much in the countryside area, but I ended up going to like where the beach is or whatever, and you can get a BF injection and drive all over the dunes, and you see the sea before you. And I thought that was always cool, and it was funny because that song was playing as I'm being chased by the police and stuff, and it just kind of gave me this moment of clarity because I really did like this song when I heard it come out, and I didn't, or like upon playing the game back in 2008, I had no idea what this song was called, or because I didn't really have interest in it when I was a teenager. I was more into hip hop and all that, and eventually I got into more alternative rock, metal, and more EDM based music. And this song here, it's really interesting because I do live in a desert climate. I live in Las Vegas, and I like the lyrics to this song, and I know it's probably about heroin or something, but what he's talking about, I've kind of had that sort of simple feeling of like be out here in the desert or something, and you go out and venture to like Red Rock or some of the cool places to go for hikes or go for runs. If you guys like to exercise, I like to go running or biking and stuff, and you get to do that in GTA San Andreas. Like, that's really awesome. RStar was really trying to capture that experience, and that you're in the 90s and all this, and then I remember this song would play, and I was like, ooh, this is really nice, it's just been a really nice experience. So I would recommend listening to this song if you really haven't, or even during the radio while you're playing San Andreas. It's a really nice touch, and I like it also because I don't know a lot about America. There's like a band in the 70s, but I like how they took a picture behind, it's like a mural of 3 Native Americans, and I'm Native American myself, so I'm like, the lyrics and everything, it makes sense, because Native American culture has been everywhere, including the West, so it kind of hits home, it hits hard. Yeah. For the next song I'm gonna play, it's called Eminence Front by The Who, and it's another awesome song that you'll hear throughout your experience of playing GTA San Andreas if you haven't played it yet. And normally when you're in the countryside chapter, this radio station will always be on there by default, or the K-Ro station, which is more country and stuff. K-DST, for me, it's like a mix of like that country, but it's like classic rock too. So the reason why I like Eminence Front so much is because the lyrics behind the song basically meaning like, because if you listen to the lyrics, he's basically talking about just people putting on a front, behind all the glamour and all the the famous and well-known being and things of that nature. It's like they're basically showing a facade, and that kind of has that relation with GTA San Andreas and the characters and stuff. It's like all these people are putting on a facade that their lives are this way, or some just flat out just show it, and they're like, oh no, this is my life flat out and everything, and they don't try hiding it. It's a nice track though, and it actually made me want to look into it, and I ended up looking up what the band is, where they're from and stuff, and I honestly thought it was an American band. I had no idea it was a band from England. It's really cool, because a lot of English artists, for some reason, they just sound like they may have like this vocal in their voice where it makes them sound like they're American or something. So but I watched the live performance they did for this song, and it's actually really nice. And I remember hearing this song play while I was flying the planes when I was like 11, or maybe when I played it again in my high school days, and I was flying a plane, and it was like, ooh, this is a nice song, and this is a nice groovy feel to it, the vocals, and if you're driving a motorcycle in the countryside, or you're going up Mount Chiliad or Chiliad, or cruising through the desert in Las Venturas, or there's something about this song that's really awesome, and so it really gives that charm that feels like you're really in 1992. This song came out in like 1982. But it's a nice feeling, and I just love the way it sounds. And it's just a nice feeling to have music like that in a video game such as GTA. I'll play here is from the SFUR, the acid house, early house music, deep house. If you guys know anything about that particular genre, I'm definitely all over the EDM scene. I'm a dancer myself, and over the years I've known and to I've become more aware and much more known of getting more knowledge about the music, the genres, how it's made, how it's produced, all this. And if it wasn't for San Andreas, I would have had no idea that acid house, that sound, it pretty much began in Europe, and it was pretty hot in the late 80s in the UK. And there is a documentary you can look up when they were having these warehouse raves in like 1988, maybe 86, 87, 89. Some of the songs on there too they're said to be produced in like 86, 88, 89, 1990, 91. And it's just that the feeling it captures, and I really love the way it sounds. It's such a cool thing. Might as well just go ahead and play it since you guys already have heard the Who and stuff. So one song I like is by Mr. Fingers called Can You Feel It? And it has like a really cool part where there's like a guy like making like a peaceful sermon, like it's like a very raving feeling, like you're at a rave, and like that whole peace, love, unity, respect sort of that's the vibe that I get from it, and playing the game while you're doing this, listening to it, it's just something about it just captures it, the charm about what the music does just really impacts the game so much more. And I really love the DJ, Hans Olander. It's really funny. All the typical and stereotypical things that you would hear in the rave community. You're on drugs and all this stuff, and he's like, saying things that he's like, he's starting to peak, and he's on something, and just all the jokes are it's funny. I would love for him to return in another GTA game, which in turn is going to bring me to another point of mine is, if they were going to remaster, well, not remaster, if they were going to remake any game, I would say GTA 3 is probably my first pick, because in that game they have Rise FM, which is more it's more trance, uplifting trance. It's techno, and it's like electro techno stuff too. And I don't know, some of you might not know that there's actually like a difference between like what techno really is, because some people will say, oh, that's a techno track. It's like, well, it's more uplifting trance. One of the songs is called, I think it's there's a remix for it and an original version. It's Shake by Chris Walsh, I think. And that actually does fit the category of like what techno would sound like. Like if you look up artists such as like Adam Fitzpatrick, I'm trying to think of a few others. Carl Cox, that's another famous English DJ. You hear that sound, and that's actually techno, there's just a slight, you know, ignorance that some people don't really know the difference of these particular genres and sounds and everything like that. It's just that techno has been fused, you know, elements of trance and being able to create this other particular sound. But Rise FM, all in all, is it's mostly uplifting trance, and then that particular track has some techno influence in it. Another adrenaline pumping feeling, and you get your head bobbing. And it's really cool that all those songs are from real people. It's not just for the game itself. It's, you know, all these songs are real, and I like that a lot. So another thing, what was I gonna mention, is that yeah, you know, like I would pay good money to see GTA 3 and San Andreas remade from the ground up, and I'm sure a lot of you are not asking for that. You're asking for GTA 6, and fairly so. You know, it's rightfully so that you guys wanna, you know, everybody wants GTA 6. You know, here's my thing too. It's like, because I really do want to see, you know, I just feel like GTA 6, in my opinion, I feel like they should take it to the past, whether it's the 80s, mid 90s, or maybe even the early 2000s again, you know, because they did a good job in all of those eras. If they do it in the current generation again, I just feel like they oversaturated a lot with GTA 5, even though I haven't beat the whole story through and through. I do own it. I just never really had an interest to go through it because I kind of spoiled everything. And like, not that I'm not saying GTA 5 is not any good. There's some things that people don't like that would have been in like GTA San Andreas. Like, I heard you can't drift on a bicycle in GTA 5, and if that's true, that kind of sucks, you know. In San Andreas, you're able to do that, and I understand the whole realism point. Like, that's cool and all, like, it's respectable, but not every game needs to aim for realism. It could still be just a video game, which it is, and you can be like, okay, you can drift on a bike or something, you know. I'll try it myself. You know, someone told me that, so, you know, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that kind of sucks. So, I would hope that GTA 6, if anything, because like Red Dead Redemption 2, it's a game that's, you know, yes, it's a sequel, but it takes place before Red Redemption 1. So it's like, what does that mean for GTA 6? You know, they could in turn do the same thing that they did with RDR2, because that's a sequel, but it's in the past, you know. And it's a great game from what I heard. But yeah, like, if it were me, I would love to see either remakes or they make a completely new GTA game that takes place in the mid-90s. This is what I want to see. It doesn't have to be Claude or whoever, which Claude coming back would be awesome. Or even CJ, or a relative of CJ, or I don't know. Just, there is something that I feel RStar could do, because they are good at capturing that atmosphere, and I really feel that if they were to do one in the mid-90s again, and it could be in Las Venturas, like, that would be really awesome, honestly. I would pay good money for that. I don't know about you guys, but that's just me. And then GTA 3, it's like, I really love that game. Vice City, I never beat it. I got halfway through it, but I got kind of stuck at the port where you're supposed to buy a bunch of property to further progress into the game. And at some point, I'll play that, the remaster, because I have all three. But San Andreas and GTA 3 have been really stealing my heart, and it's just been nice to take a visit to the past, you know, my childhood and everything. And these remasters could be a lot better. They could have added better fundamentals for the shooting and all that, especially for GTA 3 and Vice City, and when you're running away with, you know, with the dual pistols, or even just one-handed when you're running in GTA San Andreas. It's like, you guys didn't update that where CJ starts shooting in the air. Like, come on now, you know. But I feel like if they were to remake one of these games, or just make a new title, that would really make up for these remasters. Because if there's anything Rockstar has, they still have something there to build what we love. But, you know, Take-Two, whoever's pulling the strings, it's like, I've heard things about Rockstar. It's not, you know, they don't treat their employees right and all that. It's unfortunate, and I can only hope that, you know, they're learning from this, and they're gonna learn from the feedback they get with this enhanced edition for GTA 5. Can only hope that they learn, and because that charm is there for me with, you know, the older games. GTA 5, like, I haven't really had enough to really express my opinion, but it is a cool game. It's just it's just a lot different from all the other games, and I can, like I said, I can appreciate the amount of detail they are trying to make the world feel more lifelike. So a few more things I want to just say about, like, my ideas about the remakes or another game for GTA. They were to remake these, they'd have to, like, they need to put in things that were not in the game. Like, basically what GTA 5 has, it's like you should be able to do in GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, in my opinion. I mean, maybe you could change it up a little bit, you know. Maybe one game will offer this, and then the other game will offer that. Like, oh yeah, you can maybe work out, but you can't do that in, like, GTA 3 or something like that. Or I just think it'd be really cool. But again, I know not many people are really asking for that, but I would, like, however they do it, just as long as the game is good, that's all that matters. I would pay money to see that again. Or, you know, just make another game that's in Liberty City. I would wish that they would bring back characters that you played as before. I don't know why Rockstar doesn't make another game where you play as the same character as you have before. And I think it'd be, you know, it's like with me and, you know, Manhunt. If they were ever do another Manhunt game, as much as I love Danny and Leo, there was the third one, I would want Cash to somehow return to the evil that he had to fucking go through. But that's another thing too, is see, when you listen to the radio stations in GTA 3 and San Andreas, I don't know about Vice City, if there's ever any reference to Manhunt characters and all that, but it's mentioned on the radio in GTA 3 about, you know, Gary Schaefer, the corrupt police chief. He's been acquitted of all charges. Like, oh shit, so that must mean that this game must have happened, like, during the events of Manhunt, or it was either, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird because Manhunt's, like, technically in 2003, whereas part 3 is in 2001. So it's like, how does this work, you know? Or maybe he is being acquitted of some other charge. I don't, as an avid Manhunt fan, I should know this, but I forget that at the end of the game, the journalist, I think her name is Roberta, I think she says that Gary Schaefer gets, you know, charged and all that. I don't remember, but I like just how all the universe is, you know, they all, they are all connected, and that's what I really liked about GTA's universe, is how it connects all their other projects into their games, that they're all part of the same world, the same twisted, fucked up America there is in that game. And I think that it's really cool when you hear about it in San Andreas too. You hear something related to Manhunt, and it's like, you know, you go out of your way to do all that, but then it's like, oh, well, after 2007, it's like, you guys just gave up on Manhunt. It's like, why? And I understand. And, you know, either way, people are going to get offended. Fortunately, if someone's going to find something to be like, oh, it's controversial, it's like, they want to nitpick at everything. I mean, look at San Andreas. That was controversial, but now it's critical success, you know. Same thing with GTA Online, GTA 5. They're all critical successes now. They're commercially acclaimed and all that, and it's like, you know, killing in itself, it's a bad thing, but it's, you know, it's like they wanted to demonize Manhunt and brand it as like, oh, you know, you kill your kids. Well, the same thing could be said about fucking Call of Duty and all these other games, like, right? You know, the thing is that, you know, you get the choices you get to do in GTA games, whereas Manhunt, you're forced to do it. But if you actually understand the context, the story, everything about the people in the game, then it's like, well, this is more of like a horror movie. It's literally what it's like to me. It's like watching a horror movie. And yeah, Manhunt just deserves to come back, but it's probably not going to happen from Rockstar's hand. The only other way it's going to happen is if a developer takes the idea of Manhunt into their own hand and makes their own game, which is what I want to do. Sexual Deviance Club music. How many of you guys love the sound of that song? I certainly do. Which, I mean, I wish that level was longer. I wish there were more segments to it, because Manhunt shoot could have been a lot better, but what it is, you know, I appreciate it all. And the ideas that you can get from those two games, there's a lot you can do with that. And so my project, which I think through and through I want to keep the name, is Blackheart.exe. And that's pretty much supposed to take place in a sort of dark web setting in a fictional city place, and it's just early in development right now, and I want it to take place in different time periods. That being said, that doesn't mean like you know, the game, like the first game I make, it's gonna be like in all three settings. I most likely want to start the game off in the present setting, maybe a few years or a decade before where we are right now. But I would like to have a past, like something from like the 80s. I think that would be really interesting, or maybe even 90s. But and don't get it wrong, I'm not trying to make it all cyberpunky. Okay, it's not gonna be this, but I do want it where it takes place in the future, and there is somewhat of advanced technology that's introduced, but it's done in a way where it's like, it's still gonna be nitty gritty. It's not gonna be flying cars and all this shit, you know. It's and a few honorable mentions, because there's only a handful of people I really told this about. Just, I've gotten some people, you know, active, talking about, you know, their thoughts. What would they like to see in another Manhunt-based game, or in turn, if Manhunt 3 or any other Manhunt entry was ever made again. And that's the thing, like, I really do want to hear your guys' ideas. With Blackheart, I did mention it's a dark up setting, so how would that fit for the past? Well, that's kind of where it's like, I wouldn't be against there being like VHS, so it's like the earliest form was be like before there was internet. It's all gonna be like recorded on camera and all that stuff, right? That's what I want. I don't know exactly when the internet was invented, but you know, I might be a little ignorant on my facts and stuff, but I think it was in the 90s when it was invented, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Again, it's you know, it's awesome to just be able to sit here and just talk about this, because I've been just sitting around thinking about it and just talking, but it's like I actually want to do it. You know, I'm tired of talking. I want to actually make a move, make an action, and take on all the challenges that come with it, because people who are loyal Manhunt fans want to see that. So, you know, but I just think that aesthetic of like, you know, capturing the same thing they had for Manhunt, you know, VHS tapes and all that, you could really do a lot with that. It's like, ooh, imagine doing that for setting this game in the 80s, and there's still like the early stages of like this underground snuff film ring and all that stuff. You know, that's essentially what I want to do it for the present, in the future, but there's going to be a lot of different influences put into this game. It's going to have the influences of The Purge, Clockwork Orange, The Warriors, let's see, I'm trying to think of a few honorable mentions, but I have a lot, and that's how big it is. You know, I want to mix all of these different influences in and make something that's just different. You know, it just be so awesome, because I love horror games. I love being able to play a game like Manhunt and Manhunt 2 for what it's worth, and they're just very good games in that horror genre. I don't look at these as murder simulators. It's kind of redundant, because that could be said the same thing about a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter. You know, the whole backlash on that is just so stupid, but I'm not going to get into that, you know, because I have some videos where I've already kind of talked about that, but, you know, if you guys like to hear my thoughts more on that, you know, I'd be more than happy to just make a video about talking about all that stuff too, and just the fact that, you know, the media literally put this game on a pedestal, and we're saying, oh yeah, this is what it's gonna do, and this is what it's gonna do. Whereas you see all these other, you know, murders that happen, and there's like no link to a video game. It's linked to like racism or drug addiction or just mental illness, which is horrible. You know, it's like, God forbid, you know, people dying from really fucked up situations it's horrible to hear about, you know. But man, I can just imagine this game, the series, where it's gonna start, and you know, I just wanted to just kind of talk about it a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this because I have a lot of videos, and I hope you guys will enjoy listening to me. Like I said, I know I kind of ramble and stuff here and there. I'm trying to improve. But yeah, you know, send me a DM in the social links that I send you to like my Instagram, YouTube, Reddit. You guys already follow me, so it's cold out here. It's nice though. I like the cold weather out here in Vegas. Anyways, catch you later. Kill some hunters in the Manhunt games, and just keep the spirit alive.